Hey guys, I got something really, really useful for you. I made it for my own benefit and then it was working so well that I feel like I need to share it with you. So it is the Money Tail Machine. And this is based on some of the principles that Dan just taught in the Money Tail class that he just released, as well as the Money Brand Master class, the Write Like Dan Challenge, and 13 Stories. And I've kind of combined all of this and I've turned it into a custom GPT that will ask you some questions that will, at the very least, to get started, help you think of what the purpose of your story is for, what you are trying to aim for, and the principles that you're trying to convey. And then it will either generate a story for you or take even the smallest fragment of a story that you can give it and turn it into something that's frankly amazing and totally usable as a marketing email without any sort of tinkering. I generally do a little bit of editing, but it's freaking incredible. And I made this because I've been writing, some marketing emails, and for me, I haven't really fully launched like my high-end program. I have a low-ticket offer right now, and I've been using these stories for my YouTube videos, and they have been working. People have been connecting with them, and it's been great. But I've been finding, as I've been going through the process, like I have, notepads, and I'm like trying to think through all the things and writing it out and editing, and it's a lot to do for one person. And I don't have a copywriter because I want to learn the stuff myself because I'm a musician, I'm an artist, and I want to be able to do it. But I'm going to outsource a lot of it to AI because it's just so damn good. So here's what you need to know to really make use of this. First of all, I will show you how to create the custom GPT in a second. But what I've done here is I've given you the full instruction set. And you need to do a little bit of prep work ahead of time. So first I would watch the Money Brand Masterclass, which is going to help you understand what your brand stands for. And it's also going to give you the ideas and the general prior knowledge that you need to go and create your brand that you can do. I think at level 2, you unlock a 30-minute brand guide thing that you can essentially, it's just a bunch of collection of ChatGPT prompts that you can throw in there with your own knowledge and then come up with a single document that has really everything about your business. There's a few more things I'd consider throwing in there, like maybe ways that you handle people on emails, like what you say to start your emails, what you say to end your emails, and potentially your story. Like if you go with the 13 stories concept, if you have access to that program, it's like the core story, the brand story, and the path story. I think it's good to have these things in there, as well as maybe course, a list of what things that you sell, as well as potentially sales pages and stuff like that. These are just things that you can make the process a little bit easier as you go and edit your own custom GPT instructions, because I'm not going to give you access to mine because it needs to come with your brand guide. So you do the Money Brand Masterclass, you go and make your brand guide using the thing that's unlocked at level 2. I just can't remember the name. So you make your brand guide and you have that as a PDF, okay? So you need that before you start. And you really need things like your principles, all that kind of stuff, but you should have all that if you go through that process. And so what I'm going to show you now, first of all, I have a Google Doc here. And what you're going to do this Google Doc, first of all, don't request access to it. You could either copy and paste the text and just use it on your own, or you can go to File and then make a copy. So it'll save it to your own personal drive. So once you have that document, then you go into ChatGPT. And I'm going to jump now into a screen share and I'll show you exactly how this all works. And I'll give you a demo of it working and I'll show you how freaking easy it is to make a great story-based email that takes 3 minutes maybe. So let's go jump into the demo. All right, guys, I'm going to show you how to create your Money Tail machine. So here's what we're going to do. You have the instruction link that you can click, and it's going to bring you to this. Now, I've updated this a few times. I was actually going to post this a couple days ago, but I kept editing it to make it sound more human and make sure that it fits all of the points that I wanted it to. So this is really good. There could still be improvements, and if you have suggestions, please let me know because I want to make it better too, okay? All right, so what you have here is a bunch of instructions. This is actually what you need to tell ChatGPT. So I'm just going to copy that. But before you go and copy it, you need to replace the red text with your own brand info. Very important. And also, if you
as I said in the intro, you need to go file, make a copy first, okay, if you want to be able to edit it, because I won't give you access if you request it. All right, so down here it says my principles. I'm a harmonica teacher, okay? So these are the principles that I want my students to have to buy my coaching programs. So you want to change these unless you're also a harmonica teacher, and you're probably not. So make sure that these are edited to reflect your own brand, and you can do that using the brand guide. Comes up with a list, and you just copy and paste it right in there. And also down here at the bottom, this second red section, this is optional. You can delete this if you want, but what this does is it makes it ready to go as an email. So I say, hi, first name, or hey, first name, or whatever like that, and that gets the email started. Then I also have a custom sign off that's better than just saying cheers or best or something like that. So I put those down here, and those are specific for my business. And then there are PS statements, which I like. I generally try to use them to reinforce the principle of the email. And I put a couple here, and the AI will rewrite them for you if you ask it to. So if I don't want to use one of the ones that I've already come up with, then I will just get the robot to write me a new one, okay? And that's all you really need to know. So make sure that you go through those changes. You're going to select all of the text here below the instructions point, and then you're going to go over to ChatGPT. Now, when you log into ChatGPT, you're going to see something like this. You want to go click your name down here in the corner. You have to have ChatGPT Plus, and then you click My GPTs. Now from here, you want to click Create a GPT. So that's what we're going to do. We go over to Configure, and we're going to name our GPT. So this is the Money Tail Machine. You can name it whatever you want, but I do refer to the name in the instructions. In the description, makes emails that sell. And the instructions, you just, after editing them, paste them right in there. Pretty easy. Conversation starters, you could say, let's start, begin, go, whatever. And then knowledge, you're going to upload your brand guide that you made in a previous step. So there we go. Brand guide's there. And it just checks that your email and your stories and all of that are on brand as you go. And it's a good idea to give it because it is going to really tailor whatever it makes for you for your business, and just make sure that you don't have to think about if your story is on brand or not, just because it is already done for you and it has more knowledge about you, which is better for writing a story. For capabilities, I turn off Code Interpreter and DALL-E. You may want to leave web browsing. I'm experimenting with it, but if you ask it to tell a story, like, it may search for other stories if you want it to, and you can leave that capability in there or not, but it will easily work just as well if you don't include it. But I'm going to keep it checked just to see if it increases the flexibility of the system. And then up here we have a plus, and that's for a picture. And so you can use DALL-E to generate a picture, but if you go to upload photo, I've actually included one that you can download from GCU. And I also use DALL-E to make it, and it's pretty amazing, all the stuff that we can do these days. All right, so that's all you need to make the Money Tail Machine. And this is going to do two things. I'm going to walk through this now, and we'll make a story together, and I'll show you what the whole process is like. I made this in a way so it is asking you questions to remind you the important parts that you need to go through to make a compelling story. So it's asking you what the purpose of the email is, what the principle that you are trying to convey is. And if you put your principles in that list, it's like something you can just select. It's asking you if you have included flaws in your story. Then it gives you the option of either adding your own story or even making a story from stories that are just in the general public knowledge. So you don't always need a personal story for this, but I would suggest trying to use one because that kind of goes around this whole concept that we're trying to do. And then finally, it gives you the story. It gives you suggestions on how to edit it in case you don't like certain parts. It is ChatGPT, so you can be very flexible with it. If you want to go off script or tell it to do something unusual, then it will most likely comply with whatever you ask it. And then when you get the email at the end, maybe you need to do a tiny little bit of editing to make it sound a little bit more human and in your voice, but you're pretty much left with an email that is ready to go. So let me show you how to do this. We're going to do one where we write it ourselves with the story that I come up with here, and then we'll do one where it makes a story for me so you can see how it works in both ways. So we'll click let's start, and we just got to be patient when it writes things here. All right, so great, let's begin crafting your money tale. I need to understand the purpose of your tale. What is the goal of your email? Now these purposes here are taken from the money tale training, but they are not actually used in the email. So what you want to do is choose one to help you get a jump start in your own mind of what this story is going to share. Okay, so for me, I can come into this with really no solid idea, and then these prompts can help me, coalesce no idea into some idea. Okay, so that's why we have this first step. So I want to, let's see. I want to maybe present an inconvenient truth. Let's say that the instrument that I'm playing is just really hard and you need to accept it. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So it's going to write out the next part. Understood. The purpose of your tale is to present inconvenient truths. Next, let's discuss a principle that you're sharing in your email. So these are my list of principles, and it's also telling you why you would choose principles up here. So this is just a reminder that principles are more important to share than just teaching. Okay, this is something that I really need to know because a lot of what I have done in the past is just teaching, and I'm finding that people are responding to these a lot better when I'm talking about principles. And so just keep this in mind. Okay, now over here it puts the list of principles that you put into the instruction set, and so as it writes all of this out, we just need to go and pick one. You can either type in what you want to choose, or you could just type in the number, and that's what I'm going to do. So this one right here seems like it fits the story that I kind of have in mind. So overcoming challenges and persistence. So I'm going to just type 4. There we go. Now I've actually kind of come up with a story concept here, and the story I want to talk about, well, we'll let this continue, but I'll get to it. Great choice. The principle of overcoming challenges and persistence aligns well with presenting inconvenient truths. Focus on the motivation to master the complexity of the harmonica, embracing challenges and persisting despite obstacles. Great. Okay. So now let's move on to the next step. Would you like to go option 1, provide your own story, or option 2, have me generate a story idea for you? So I am going to do option 1 here, but we'll try option 2 very quickly afterwards. So we'll do option 1. And it says, and if it's option 1, don't forget to include a flaw in the story, and it's going to double check that you did that afterwards as well. So it's going to give you the tips that were available in the Money Tales training about creating a story, that it should be normal and mundane, that it needs to be entertaining, and that the story fits the purpose and the principle. Now, if you chose a purpose and you decide that, oh, I don't want to do that, remember the purpose is not used in the actual email itself. So this was a very quick story. I mean, you could pause if you really want to read what I gave it, but it's not super in-depth or anything. But what I was just saying is that I used to, as I was learning harmonica, I was a professional choir singer in a church. And in the breaks of the rehearsals, I'd go off in the back and I'd try to practice my bends. And one of my someone in my choir section said that I sounded like a dying duck, and I laughed. It was kind of silly, and I'm like, yeah, she's right. And I was pretty annoying. I was doing it like every day, everywhere I went. I was obsessed. Okay, I have a problem with getting easily obsessed about things and doing them until they hurt me, and so that's just a thing. Okay, so I kind of wrote that story out. And I also put in here, like, it's just one aspect of the harmonica. You don't even need to be able to to bend to play good music, and like I've even created a new scale for you to play if you don't want to be able to bend. So that's what I'm sharing to the robot. So we paste that in there. Oops, I actually put it here at the bottom. That my flaw was that I'm impulsive, obsessed, and sometimes a little annoying. So I already communicated that. So if you did not put in a flaw, then it's going to ask you if you had a flaw. And if you didn't, just add what your flaw is, and it will try to integrate that into the story. All right, so now it's going to give you a title here, from Dying Duck to Harmonica Hero. That's not bad. Let's see. You know what? Let's go. I'm not sure. Let's test the flexibility, and we're just going to ask for more titles. I want to keep that Dying Duck thing because I think it's fun. I really like that when my harmonica sounded like a quack. That's great. Okay, so that's what I'm going to choose, and I'm going to say 6. Okay. All right, so it's asking me what I want to promote with this email, and so you just type it in. I want to promote my course, which is a low ticket offer that I made before I started this program, and I am trying to get my higher ticket offer going. So I want to promote my course, Blues Harp Success, at a 20% discount for Black Friday. I could include a link here, but if you do include a link, it's just going to paste the link directly into the email that it gives you. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to do it for right now. All right. Now it is going to hopefully continue on. I don't know why it's not. Oh, it says, could you please provide the link? So I'll provide the link myself. Okay. So now it is going to give you a first attempt at the email. Oh, actually, Finding Music Behind the Dying Duck Sounds. That is not the title that I picked, is it? Okay, well, usually it does use the same title, but AIs tend to rewrite things sometimes more than what you want them to. So let's go take a look at this. If you ever face a challenge so frustrating yet so rewarding at the same time, I remember when I was learning to play harmonica, specifically mastering the art of bending notes. So here's something that I don't like. Picture this. I don't like picture this phrases, so I might tell it afterwards to go and fix that for me. So I actually did this in a previous generation and came up with a story that I liked, but let me go show you. This is the one that I ended up settling with. I actually like the newer title, When My Harmonica Sounded Like a Quack. I don't know. I kind of like both of them. So anyways, here's the story that I came up with last time when I was practicing this. So it says, have you imagined a harmonica sounds like a dying duck? Well, that was me in my early days of learning to bend notes. As a professional choir singer, I was equally passionate and obsessed with mastering the harmonica. I'd seize every spare moment, even choir rehearsals, to practice those tricky bends, a pursuit that, in hindsight, was a bit intense. I get kind of obsessed about things, you know? One day, I overheard a choir member comparing my harmonica bends to the squawks of a dying duck. I had to laugh. She wasn't wrong. Those initial bends can sound pretty awful. It's a stage where passion meets frustration head on, a phase I call the ugly duckling stage of harmonica playing. Here's the inconvenient truth. Mastering the harmonica isn't just about getting the notes right. It's about pushing through those awkward, sometimes annoying phrases. It's about persisting, even when your music sounds more like waterfowl than blues. I love that line. And guess what? You don't always need perfect bends to create soulful music. The This brings me to something special I've prepared for you, my course Blues Harp Success. It's designed to guide you through these challenges, these challenging stages, with or without the perfect bends. Here's the best part, it's 20% off this Black Friday week. Whether you're still wrestling with your bends or just starting, this course is your shortcut to skipping the dying duck stage without missing the fun. And then it would put a thing where you would add the link in. Remember, every harmonica gray has been where you are. What matters is moving forward, embracing each note, bend or no bend. Keep pushing, keep playing, and let's turn those duck sounds into beautiful music together. Stay soulful, blank. And then remember, overcoming hurdles in music is like mastering a difficult riff. I don't really like that PS thing, but it's there. Okay, so that is the general idea of what it makes. Now, this might be a little bit different, but I want to show you some other things here at the bottom. Sometimes it tells you this and sometimes it doesn't, and I'm not sure how to make sure that it's more consistent, but it will give you some ideas here, and you can see it at the bottom of the instruction set of what you can do to change it, and usually it does include it down here. So the level of masculinity or femininity, changing the reading level. The default is 4th grade reading level, because I find that that's the most clear and less overly wordy and flowery, which is something that AIs tend to do. And you can change the tone if you want to make it more serious or something like that. And you could ask for like a different, change of, sentence length and structure and things like that. So those are things that I've experimented with. And if you have additional ideas, hey, let me know, and maybe I'll add them to the default instruction list that I'll keep in this post. Also, at the bottom of your email, after it writes every single variation of the email, it links you to Dan's copy analyzer, which he was sharing with the Write Like Dan challenge. And you could just paste your email into there and it will go and fix your copy and run it by the principles of Dan Henry, which I think is really awesome as well. In fact, most of the stories that I've done from this that I've put into Copy Analyzer have been like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 by default, which is like amazing. And a lot of that is the way that I've structured all of this. Okay, so that is how this thing works. You can go and get it set up on yourself. What I want to do here, though, is I want to start over from the beginning, just to show you what it does if you make a story, if you choose it to make a story for you. So let's start over from the beginning. Okay, and it's going to do the same thing. So we'll just see it go through this, but this time we're going to choose option 2, and we're going to have it make a story for us, which I'll just show you how that actually works out. One thing I want to mention as it's going and typing all of this stuff out is that, let's see, I'm going to do this to, I don't know, to present a philosophy. As I was saying, one thing that I think you should keep in mind is that the story that you make is written by an AI, okay? If people find that it's written by an AI, like if they're really like, oh, this isn't even a human, this is a robot, they're going to distrust a lot of your emails in the future. So I suggest whatever it makes for you, that you go and just edit it so it's in your voice and doesn't sound too much like a robot. Like here we go, like this is a great example, right, in this sentence here. It's a cacophony of trial and errors. I would never use the word cacophony, okay? And I told it to write at a 4th grade reading level, and so it generally doesn't use words like that, but occasionally it does. So just keep that in mind. You want to take those out of your actual thing yourself. All right, so I don't really know what this story is going to be about, this one here. So I said my thing was to prevent a philosophy. How about embracing adaptability and innovation? That's what I'm going to talk about, so we'll do 5. All right, and now it is going to move on to the next step here, and it's going to give you the option 1, which we already did, and then option 2. So this time let's do 2. And this is really cool because, it can make a story that is not depending on your own personal stories. I think most of them should be, but, this is great. And you can also use these in other forms that aren't just emails as well, of course. All right, so it's going to give you 10 potential story ideas, and I've asked it to make sure that these ideas are actual real story concepts, okay? And they don't all have to do with like harmonica, of course. My topic is harmonica, so that's a lot of what it's going to give me. But if you do look in the instruction set when it's talking about option two, um, right here. So it says the story should use examples taken from popular culture, actors, entrepreneurs, musicians, and notable historical figures. So, if you really don't want any music examples, you just delete musicians, okay? So I don't know if I want all of these to be about harmonica players, but you know what? Let's just say sure. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about these stories. Let's make them not related to harmonica players. And so ideally, it's going to come up with another list of stories. Here we go. Actually, I really like this. The artist palette evolution. I'm a painter myself, so that clicks with me. So I'm going to do story number 3 once it finishes here. Okay, and it's going through this. Now it's asking for titles. All right, so I'm not sure if I like any of these titles because they don't have anything to do with music, even slightly. So make the titles still reference harmonica. Ooh, can't spell. Um, reference harmonica or music, even though the example is of an artist. So you can be pretty flexible with this. You know what? I kind of like see a painter's song in a digital age. Of course, this isn't about a painter, but I like that part in a digital age. So you can see how this can just provide you some inspiration. So let's use the title um, Learning in a Digital Age. Okay. It still remembers that I'm promoting my course, so that makes it very easy. See, there we go. I think it actually is already doing a pretty good job. So imagine an artist steeped into the tradition of a brush and canvas suddenly discovering the world of digital art. It's like a harmonica player accustomed to the acoustic bends and blues stepping into the realm of electronic music. I'm not sure if this is applicable, but let's keep reading. This is a tale of adaptability and innovation, a journey from the familiar into the unexplored. For years, this artist painted with tangible strokes, each brush movement a familiar dance, and then digital art emerged, a new frontier. At first, it was daunting, but the thought of trading brushes for a stylus, canvas for a screen, but then something clicked. The artist realized that embracing this new form didn't mean abandoning tradition, it meant enhancing it, adding another layer to the creative repertoire. The story mirrors the journey many of us face in music, especially with instruments like the harmonica. The digital age brings new tools, new methods, and new sounds, and it's easy to cling to the old ways, but true growth lies in embracing both the old and new. In Blues Harp Success, my course that's now offered at a special 20% discount for Black Friday, I blend traditional techniques with innovative approaches. Just like the artist who found harmony between paint and pixels, this course will guide you in harmonizing the classic with the contemporary in your harmonica playing. The digital age is not about just learning new ways, it's about redefining our relationship with our passions. Whether it's art, music, or any other field, let's step into this era with an open mind and a willing heart. Ready to embrace this digital harmonica journey? Add your link and discover how the blend of traditional and modern can help elevate your music. Keep harping, name, and then remember, the best music, like the best art, comes from the blend of old and new. Let's explore this fusion together. I thought that was really cool. And so that's kind of the idea, right? Now, I wouldn't use this email exactly how it is because I don't want people to think I'm teaching them electronic music. So I would go and edit this, but yeah, that was totally workable. Now, you can also ask it at any time, is this on brand? And it's going to go over your brand guide. And so it's even just reminding you what you have to say, like for your voice, which is a part that you had to fill out in your brand guide. And it is making sure that it's kind of matching there. And I don't really know what it's going to say because I haven't asked it to do this yet. Yeah. Yeah. So it's saying here's why it's on brand, because it fits these different things that match up with your voice. So not only is it telling you, yes, it's on brand, but it's telling you why it's on brand. So you can see how useful this is. So before I go and send you this, I'm going to just edit the instructions just a tiny bit to make it sure that it prompts you for the different ways that you can change the email at the end, as I mentioned earlier. And there you go. That is the MoneyTail machine. I hope this is helpful for you. Now, I can't just share mine with you. You have to create it yourself because it needs your own knowledge base and your edited instruction set. But all of that is linked at Get Clients University. So I hope this is helpful. And thank you specifically to Dan Henry for coming up with all this stuff. It's amazing. It's helping me out in my business. And I made this for myself, and I just thought it was so good that I wanted to share it because I think it's really fantastic. And if anyone at GCU wants to like adapt this or whatever, like go ahead. I'm just trying to share the love. All right, so that's it. Hope this was helpful and enjoy creating your MoneyTail machine.